Hello again, YouTube. Welcome back to another replay review with commentary. As you can see, this one was a very one-sided matchup. I still thought it was worth showing anyway, just because there's a lot of good Latias stuff in the game. The win, wasn't necessarily because of Latias, as you can see by numbers. Latias wasn't really the heavy hitter of the team, but more so the glue holding things together as you would expect a support to be. Not much else to say, let's just get into it. I am hoping that this video, along with my other Latias gameplay video, can serve as companion pieces to the Latias guide I will be uploading soon. If you're watching this video in the future, this guide is probably uploaded. But as of right now, I have not recorded that guide yet. So, here is more gameplay. Here is more of me talking about Latias gameplay to hopefully give good info with that guide. Typically with Latias, obviously you want to be playing with a Latios on your team, but Latios was banned this game. I still decided to pick Latias anyway, just for some more experience, if I can talk, and a little more for you guys to look at and learn from for the review. There you saw me timing Swift for the last hit. It comes out really quick, like Latios's, so you can be pretty quick. You can be pretty quick on the last hits if you're careful. And yeah, it's good harass damage as well. The AoE is really strong. It's probably the biggest aspect of the move as compared to Latios, that you can hit people with this fan. And the damage is pretty decent too for early on. My goal in a lane like this, as I said in my other replay, since I was laning with Latios in that game, is getting levels early on. I want to make sure my Charizard can get to Charmeleon as soon as possible, because that's where he really starts to begin to unlock his kill threat. Charmander really is never getting kills unless the enemy team just screws up. So I'm not trying to put my teammate in a situation where the enemy team just screw up for him to get anything. We very efficiently outlast hit our opponents there. And so now we're just zoning them near our goal zone. If they try to approach, we can heal, get shields back. If not, we just drive them off with ranged attack damage that they can't really outdo. Part of their struggle in a matchup like this is that they have one melee, one ranged Pokemon, whereas we have one ranged Pokemon and one kind of ranged Pokemon in Charmeleon. I know he's classed as melee, and his range isn't as good as Latias, obviously, but he's still pretty long range compared to Aegislash. As with Latios, last hits are very important for getting your Eon energy, so you'll see me trying to go for last hits where I can when I'm farming with my teammates. Obviously, if it's a situation where last hits are contested for any reason, then the important thing is that once someone on our side gets them, right? Not that we try to make the Latias get them. You'll also notice that because of Levitate, I get a movement speed boost every time I use Dragon Pulse, so it's good for survivability in two senses, right? One, I get the heals off of it, and two, the movement speed lets me reposition a little bit. Also helps me for backing off once I farm something or hit someone and want to get to somewhere a little safer. Here I made the intentional choice not to knock out the goal zone because, as you can see, they're pretty level starved right now. Even though he got that, he's still 2 levels lower than me, and I have an XP share. So in my mind, I'm thinking, they really have a hard time farming against us. I want to keep the farm on this neutral area as much as possible before unlocking the Indeedis that spawn on their side when their goal zone dies over here. But I do believe, yeah, here my Ninetales and Bro knock it out. It is what it is. Just how it goes sometimes. It's one of those things that you generally don't want to have happen, but you just take it when it happens. It's sort of how it goes in pretty much whenever you're not 5-stacking. You can't guarantee that things are going to go the way you want them to. Nonetheless, my second move, I am using Dragon Cheer again. I mentioned in my other gameplay video that I prefer Mist Ball when I don't have a Latios. These days I like Dragon Cheer more than Mist Ball just in general. I think it's a better move overall. Reason being, it's a lot more flexible. For mobility for yourself, for giving shields to your teammates, for boosting their damage. It does a lot more than Mist Ball does. Mist Ball is very narrow in its application compared to Dragon Cheer. Mist Ball is still a decent move. I think the damage is kind of weak, but it's still very annoying for the enemy to fight into, in my experience. When it comes to using Latias' ult effectively, I think there's sort of 2 ways you can think about using it. The first is to try to secure a kill on a low health target, which may sometimes be difficult, of course. Especially if there are lots of stuns that you have to worry about on the enemy side, it can become very easy for them to just stun you when you're trying to hit them with your ult. You can also use it on a very tanky target who is more than likely going to be in between all of their teammates, and then you sort of hope that one of their teammates walks in front of them and gets hit by it as well. Now here, I'm sort of just fighting into them and running onto their side more to buy my Charizard space to escape. He wasn't exactly low, but he's low enough that if they started going on him more, they would have killed him. And you saw how quick they killed me, right? And I have more HP than him at this point. So that they were able to kill me that quickly shows how quickly Charizard would have died if I didn't step up. And yeah, in idle moments where your team's doing well on the map, getting some last hits on Baltoys isn't a bad thing to do. Baltoys are the bread and butter of supporters, I think, and defenders in terms of catching up on XP. And obviously on Latias, that's going to be very helpful as well in terms of getting your Eon stacks. I'm sure I said so in my guide already, so if you're coming from my guide, then this will no doubt be familiar information. But for those who may have not watched it yet, or it's not out yet, or just as a reminder, the Eon stacks for Latias' Dragon Pulse is 25 to get 2 pulse shots, then 50 to get a 3rd pulse shot, 75 to get a 4th, and then 100 gets you 5 and 6. So you can sort of see where my Dragon Pulse stacks, or my Eon stacks are based on the number of pulse shots. Right now I have the 2, so I have at least 25. Still haven't hit my 3rd yet, that's okay. Really truly, the first 2 are the most important with Latias. 3 and 4 are kind of nice if you can get them. And obviously 5, 6 is really, really strong if you get all of them. But I usually don't go into games planning on doing that with Latias. Now he did sort of just ult to go home, but it did counter my ult, so it seems low value on his side, but it does counter my ult. Keeps him alive. Sometimes when you're in a losing game, keeping yourself alive is really important. Just don't feed any more levels in the team. But you can see here sort of the power of Dragon Pulse when it comes to playing objectives, right? Is I can hit the objective, and if the enemy team's on it, they'll get hit. And on top of all that, I'm going to be healing no matter what I'm hitting, whether it's an allied Pokemon or a wild Pokemon. So just using Dragon Pulse off cooldown is generally how you want to be playing this Pokemon. Not to mention it naturally plays into how you want to play with stuff like Shell Bell as well. And the cool interaction of that and Drive Loans just makes it so you get lots of Dragon Pulses throughout the game. Oh, here I don't get to score. It's really tragic. Watch, I'm about to die. Nope. Well, my whole team got to score. We are very far up, obviously. It's a pretty one-sided game, like I said. In terms of, you know, seeing a bit struggle back and forth, there's not much of that in this game, really, and I do admit that. I didn't want to upload just a stomp game, though, even though I am kind of happy to win, obviously. So I'm trying to highlight stuff on Latias. Hope it helps you guys. And if you are watching still, leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the commentary, what you think of Latias. If you came from my guide, maybe what you thought of my guide, all that stuff. I really do appreciate it, as always. Likes help too. You know, if you enjoyed the video, please like. I will always appreciate that. And obviously subscribe for more content like this. Now enough of my spiel, let's get back to the game. You'll notice that Dragon Pulse is very good at checking bushes because the hitbox covers a very wide angle. So a second ago when I hit the H slash, you saw me beam and it hit all the way across, basically from that end of the grass to that end of the grass. That's generally how you want to be using Dragon Pulse. They did get some KOs there, so it's not entirely one-sided. Their Cinderace is still a good ripper here. He's still pretty strong. And him being level 14 does mean the team has some pretty good damage when it comes to Rayquaza. Like Latios, because you want to be using Dragon Pulse off cooldown as much as you can and have it be meaningful. Blue buff is very useful just for the cooldown reduction, so I don't mind farming it here as the Latias. Obviously, though, I want to connect with my team. As Zardoff is taking care of the Cinderace, I am just filling in the gaps, helping against the Aegislash, helping against the Psyduck, helping wherever I'm needed in terms of applying slows, giving shields. And this is what I mean when I say that Latias is the glue, right? Your extra HP means you can tank some hits and move around in fights as you need to. It gives you breathing room to be able to heal with Dragon Pulse. Dragon Pulse gives you the area coverage, and with your plus move, it gives you the slow you need to help control enemies. And obviously the shield and boost of Dragon Shear is very helpful for giving your teammates what they need to be able to fight, secure objectives, all that stuff. It was a pretty close call there with the Mew securing Rayquaza, but we did manage to get it. Do they surrender here? I truly don't know if they surrender or not. Maybe they do. I guess we'll just let it play out and see. But general things on Latias to keep in mind as well. Obviously, Levitate's a lot less good when you don't have a Latios on your team, but even just the ability to move faster whenever using an ability is still good. These days I'm using X Speed as my battle item of choice. I think it's a little better in terms of helping this very slow Pokemon get around the map. It also helps since your both your moves are long cooldown. Normally you don't want to run X Speed on Pokemon with lower cooldowns because while you're using your moves, obviously you're not getting any value off X Speed. But Latias' cooldowns are a decent enough length that you don't mind using X Speed. And again, you're a tanky Pokemon. You can survive long enough through the damage to be able to X Speed and back off of a bad engagement. Notably, the healing that you get from Dragon Pulse, it scales with your special attack, which is part of why I like Drive Lens on Latias, because late game you have a lot of special attack boost from that, obviously. You're already a decent special attack as a more higher damage supporter, but then on top of that, the cooldown reduction on the item is really nice as well, which is very nice for everything that Latias wants to do. And yeah, as you saw, it was a pretty one-sided match. My Charizard played very, very well, obviously. But it was still a good Latias game, still did what I had to for the team, helped us out here and there where we needed it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have not checked it out yet, check out my other Latias replay. I filmed some day 1 footage. I had a Latias on my team. We played against a Latias duo on the enemy team. Pretty good stuff. And if this is coming out, or rather if you're watching this after my guide has already come out, do check out my Latias guide as well. That is all I have, though. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great night. Peace!